Hey guys, it's Tristan here from Zebra Invest, and today I'm going through direct to vendor marketing. And what's the idea? Why do we use it? Who are we trying to attack? And what's the benefit of it? So if you haven't watched my channel before, you will see I've done visits where I put leaflets out to people and I've specifically targeted empty properties. I've even bought empty properties, gutted them, refurbished them, and transformed them. But what I want to do is just drill down ideas that I've done before, targeting them, done letters I've sent in the post, what's worked, what hasn't, and what might work for you. So one of the first things that I did is I've gone about and I've created leaflets. And the whole idea of a leaflet is you can pop it through the door whenever you've got a house that's a bit skanky, needs a bit of work, or it could be where you can see that the seller is motivated. And in those cases, I've literally handwritten a leaflet, scanned it all into the computer, and I've had probably about 500 or so of these leaflets all made up. And what I actually did is a few years ago, but during COVID and lockdown, I went round door to door and actually popped these leaflets through the doors on every single property that I saw where I thought it looked like it was an absolute awful state. And the idea was I was literally honing down and just targeting that one person who I wanted them to sell me that property. And what I do is I'd always keep them in my van, so whenever I was going around, I could just pop by and stick another load of leaflets in the door. The downside is you don't know if someone actually wants to sell or what someone's circumstances are. So whilst I was putting quite a few out there and I was successful, there are other opportunities and other ways of doing this. The other bit that I've done as well is put online adverts out there. So I've gone onto Gumtree, I've gone onto Facebook Marketplace, and even into some of the community groups. And it can be a really good way of attracting people who are looking to sell their property and might want to reach out and do a deal with you. And it's quite good because you can then actually have a communication. The downside of this has been I have had a few people give me a little bit of hate comments, stuff where they don't like me, who I am. But I have had one or two leads of them. But it has been quite a bit of effort and a fair bit of expenditure, but not many opportunities. And the people who have called me haven't actually been that motivated and wanting to sell. And off the back of that, I've done one of these things that if you look out there, there's a chap called Jamie York, and he produces some great content. And he was all explaining how you can use Facebook adverts to go out there, advertise, and specifically target people who might be in a position that need to be able to sell their property. I've done this. I even created a special website called Report Empty, and the idea was people could report an empty property to me. I could buy that property, refurbish it, and sell it on down the line and flip it. But the downside was, again, I pushed all of that, had a lot of effort and a lot of work to it, and I didn't get that many leads. And to do that, you've got to build your own website, get everything out there. And I know now with AI website generators, this might be a little bit easier, but I didn't get that many responses from them. But the people who do contact you are motivated and they do want to sell. So the next thing that I did is really did letters, and one of the videos you might have seen me explain is about student properties. And student properties, usually just after September, are going to be sitting empty. So I specifically look for properties that are on the student market, they're up for rent, and the landlords have struggled because they're great people to send letters to, and they're going to be motivated to get rid of that property because they've now got a problem, it's sitting empty, there's no income, chances are they've got a mortgage going out, and they're a really good person to send a letter out to. The other thing I've also done is I used to work for a freeholder, so I used to know quite a lot about short leases. So if you're interested in short lease flats, I've done a great video here on YouTube as well, all about how they work. But we specifically wrote out and sent letters directly to people who had short leases on their flats, and they might be struggling to get lending, struggling to sell the property, and might want to move on. But the main bit with all of this was we're really focusing people who are motivated and struggling to sell their property. But one of the problems is you really do need to be targeted when you come to sending these letters. And so what I want to do is quickly jump in and show you a really easy way you can do this. As some of you know on the channel, I work with a property filter. They've got a great piece of software here that makes it really easy to go out and find deals. So what I'm going to do here is just head into Property Filter and show you what they've updated within version 3. Granted, this does cost about £100 a month, but the whole idea is it is literally targeting you straight to that one deal that is going to work for you. So rather than just sending leaflets and letters to everyone or trying to get someone in who's interested, why not literally just focus on those types of properties you're looking for? So the idea is here, if you haven't seen any of my videos on Property Filter before, is you set up a search or type of properties that you're looking for. And when you jump in, you're able to kind of click in and you can see all the types of properties and deals that someone might be motivated for. So you've got stuff where they've got where it's been back on market and so a sale's fallen through and it's reduced, it's back or it's had a reduction, it's been on the market for a long time, or it's had a sale agreed. But the idea is here is what you could actually do is go through and send these people letters. Property Filter is fantastic at this. So they've built a whole system where they'll send all the letters for you. So you've got some settings here that you can just set up to start here. It's already got my phone number here and my email address. You would have been able to find that online anyway. You can add your own logo so you can tell display how you want it and set up various other bits. You can set up your calendar, lots of other bits that are in here as well. So I'm just going to close that off. And then what you can do is set up your own letter campaign. So the idea is here is, say for example, we're looking for someone where the property has been on the market, but they've had a sale agreed and the sale hasn't gone through. We can turn around and say, look, we'll use this, hello, dear homeowner, and it's got all the text already there to go. You customize it as your details and your name and your details in there as well. So I just save all that and I'm going to say long time sold and I'm going to say Lincoln, for example. We just saved that. So now we've got a whole load of letters that could be ready to target someone. And the next bit is we want to work out who we're going to be sending these to. So I'm going to say Lincoln, slow sellers. And again, we're just going to go next. And here we're going to use the long time sold, slow sellers. So it's got a whole load of letters that is going to be ready to be able to send for me. What we need to do now is just be able to work out who we want to send these letters to. And rather than, and I don't know if you have, but I've got endless envelopes. I've tried doing it loads of time, popping my stamps on it and sending those out in the post to make sure I get someone to reply. But instead, Property Filter will actually send all these letters for you. So what you can do is if we go back to the lead generator, so where we're looking at it, I was looking at these properties that were going to be nice little flips in Lincoln. And then what we're going to do is we want to select the properties that have been sticking around and the ones that we want to send letters to. So what you can see here is most of the time Property Filter will pick up the property addresses. So what we can do is we can select all. So we can select all the ones and you see here where it's got the addresses for all of them, we can then send them a letter. So if we click send letter, we can then select the campaign that we want. So we've got Lincoln Slow Sellers and then we'll click save. So now all of those properties are all being added onto that list, so we can send letters to them pretty much straight away without having to do much work at all. And what you could also do if you wanted to is you could remove them, or we could have been a little bit more check and we could check through the ones that we actually wanted and choose the ones that we wanted to do there. I've just done the whole lot, but you could work through and select exactly which ones you want to send out. So now when that comes back to the send letter side here, you can see we've got 70 places that we want to send our letters to. What Property Filter does is it actually works through itself to work out who we're going to send these letters to and check that the addresses are completely right before it just goes off and sends those letters to us. It will then work out a price for how much it's going to cost to send all of those letters, and it will send, say, a letter the start, say the first day that you want it, a week later, and so it just follows up and chases it all for you. So you can see here now what we can do is we can do a review and send once it's got all the addresses in place, and then we can sort of say, hey, look, when do I want my first one sent out? And we can set that for this, that would be 14th, so it'll be ready tomorrow. And then we can if we get someone come back to us and say, no, Tristan, I don't want to work with you, we could then remove them from the list. But it's a pretty neat way of being able to get out and actually target sellers who do want to sell the property. The one word of warning I will make sure I say with this, look, if you're going to go direct to vendor, and you're ever going to go direct to vendor, and there's an estate agent involved, make sure you offer to pay their fees, because as soon as you get a bad reputation in an area, then they're not going to give you more deals. And I'm based in Norwich, and even when I was based in Southampton, there's only so many agents there. And you want to make sure you stay on their side because they're the ones helping you with deals and making sure that when you do put an offer in, it will go through. So I'm hoping you think that is a great piece of kit. You think it's something that you could jump on and use. If you do want to learn, as I've said, anything more about direct to vendor, I've got quite a few videos that I've done it already, so jump into the rest of my channel. But if you want to head over to Property Filter, jump on board and use their software. I'm going to drop a link in the below. It's got a 14-day free trial, and my discount code, which is Tristan, it will give you 50% off your first month. So that's pretty much getting a month for free. You get half price and your 14-day free trial. Hopefully you found that really useful. Hopefully you're going to be jumping on and finding your next wave of deals. So thank you very much and have a great day. Bye.